Taken by angels, the forest floor was cold and smelled of damp moss and old silence. Shiori huddled beneath the twisted roots of the ancient kiri tree, her breath ghosting in the twilight air. She had walked for 3 days. Her worn backpack lay beside her. Inside, she had only a notebook filled with drawings of winged symbols and a single smooth river stone. She squeezed the stone tight, trying to remember the warmth of the sun. Then, the air grew still. Not the quiet of a sleeping forest, but the absolute crushing silence of a held breath. The leaves on the kiri tree stopped rustling. Even the distant sound of the rushing river vanished. She didn't look up. She didn't need to. The presence was a vibration in the ground, a bell ringing in her bones. They found me. The thought was cold and true. Ether stepped into the pool of light. They made no sound on the moss. They simply were, a towering silhouette draped in what looked like heavy clouds, and light refracted into geometric shapes. A hand, impossibly long and pale, reached out toward the kiri tree. It wasn't threatening. It was merely stating a fact that canceled out all of Shiori's running. Shiori took a deep breath, the scent of damp earth filling her lungs one last time. She dropped the river stone. It landed with a tiny clink that sounded like a gunshot in the oppressive quiet. Chapter 6, Taken by Angels. She walked toward Aether. Every step felt like walking into a memory. The air became warmer, lighter, and the forest around them began to dissolve, the colors fading to watercolor. The moment their fingers brushed, the world inverted. There was a sound like 1,000 glass bells breaking, and Shiori felt as if she were falling up through a brilliant sky. The fall stopped as suddenly as it began. She stood on a floor of silver mist, looking out over a landscape made of pure, crystalline thought. The light here had no source, yet filled everything. Aether stood beside her, silent. They gestured, not with their hand, but with the subtle tilt of their whole presence, toward the boundless, shining city. Welcome, the silence seemed to say, to where the journey truly begins.